Hello, and welcome to our in-depth coverage of a shocking and tragic incident that has captured headlines. Today, we delve into the disturbing case of Abigail White, also known as Fake Barbie, an OnlyFans model convicted of murdering her boyfriend, Bradley Lewis. As this case unfolds, we explore the details, the trial, and the aftermath that continues to spark debates. Abigail White, a 24-year-old mother of three, was earning a substantial income on OnlyFans, a platform for explicit content, and made around £50,000 a year posting erotic snaps on OnlyFans before she was jailed last year. However, her life took a dark turn when she was found guilty of plunging a knife into the heart of Bradley Lewis, the father of her children. The incident occurred last March, and the trial revealed chilling details of the fatal altercation between the couple. In the days leading up to the incident, tensions escalated between White and Lewis. Reports indicate that Lewis had expressed his desire to end the relationship, a decision that would have profound consequences. On the fateful night, they were seen arguing in a pub, setting the stage for the tragic events that followed. The courtroom testimony painted a picture of a tumultuous relationship, marked by arguments and physical altercations. Friends and witnesses spoke about the couple's troubled history, providing insight into the complex dynamics that ultimately led to a violent confrontation. The trial at Bristol Crown Court brought to light the heartbreaking details of Bradley Lewis's final moments. Witnesses testified about White's volatile behavior, describing her as difficult and prone to arguments and physical fights. The jury learned that, on that fatal night, a seemingly intoxicated White stabbed Lewis in the chest, penetrating his heart. During the trial, White offered a defense of manslaughter based on diminished responsibility. She claimed that she picked up the knife intending to shock and scare Lewis, not realizing the severity of her actions until it was too late. However, the jury, after 12 hours of deliberation, rejected her defense and found her guilty of murder. The legal proceedings delved into the complexities of mental health and the impact of volatile relationships on one's state of mind. Expert witnesses provided insights into White's psychological profile, contributing to the nuanced understanding of the case. Following White's conviction, Avon and Somerset police issued a statement criticizing her cruel lie and callous and selfish actions. Senior investigating officer D.I. Ben Lavender said, "Bradley was a much-loved young man, a father, with his whole life ahead of him. Abigail White cruelly snatched that life away by her callous and selfish actions." In her initial account, she tried to claim Bradley stabbed himself, which was a cruel lie, but due to the evidence gathered by our team, she admitted a charge of manslaughter at a previous court hearing. This trial was held because the prosecution maintained she had murdered Bradley, and this was backed up by the jury's verdict. In the days before the incident, White had stabbed Mr. Lewis in the arm, and, on another occasion, he told a friend in a phone call, "Help me, Sophie, she's trying to kill me, she's trying to stab me, she keeps beating me up, she's hurting me." On the day of the attack, Mr. Lewis had been at a park with White and another family, and he had told her, "I don't want to be with you anymore, ABI." They had later gone to a pub together where White had got into arguments with other drinkers, having drunk a bottle of wine, a Jaggerbomb and 2 rum and cokes, as well as taking a small amount of cocaine. White told the jury she only wanted to shock and scare Mr. Lewis, and they argued after she felt he had not stuck up for her during the row in the pub. "We were arguing, and he was pushing me, and were in the hallway. I went into the kitchen, and I seen the knife on the side," White said. "Picked it up and walked back towards Brad. I went over to him to shock him, to scare him with the knife, and before I knew it, I had stabbed him." White denied she had intended to hurt Mr. Lewis, telling the jury, "No, I didn't. It was just over before I even thought." At the pub, a witness spoke of how White was obviously in a difficult mood. The jury was told she was causing trouble with other people, getting into arguments and physical fights, and giving Bradley grief. At about 7:50 p.m., they left the pub and went home, the court heard. But Mrs. Viggers told the jury, by 8:10 she was ringing the ambulance service and then screaming for a neighbor to come to the house, panicking and crying out for help. Because by 8:10, Abigail White had stabbed Bradley Lewis through the chest, pushing the knife between his ribs and ultimately into his heart. White told the jury she and Bradley were in between her hall and living room, and she went to the kitchen, possibly to walk away from a confrontation, and saw a knife on the side. She said she wanted to scare Bradley, pick the knife up, and return to the hall. She described holding the knife with the blade pointing down, like it had been when she previously stabbed him in the arm. She said she went up to Bradley and thrust the knife at his chest, but didn't realize she had done that until afterwards. Mr. Justice Fraser, presiding over the case, sentenced Abigail White to life in prison, with a minimum term of 18 years. He emphasized that her actions not only resulted in the loss of Bradley Lewis, but also left their 3 children without a father. The courtroom heard emotional statements from the victims' family, expressing the impact of this tragedy on their lives. The sentencing phase explored the broader implications of the crime, considering the consequences for the victim's family and society at large. Legal experts weighed in on the challenges of balancing punishment with rehabilitation in cases involving severe acts of violence. Now held at HMP Eastwood Park in Gloucestershire, Abigail White's demands for conjugal visits have raised eyebrows. The prison service, maintaining strict supervision during daytime family visits, has not accommodated her request for overnight stays. White's case has reignited discussions about the treatment of female prisoners and the complexities of managing their needs. Some argue that the focus should be on the rehabilitation of inmates, while others stress the importance of accountability for heinous crimes.